Hi everyone, my name is Luann Algoso, and I'm with Persephone Magazine, and we are actually regenerating a former column called Persephone Pioneers, and this is the first interview in that series to kind of reboot that column. And so today we have the lovely ladies of Two Girls, One Asian, the new web series that stars Kayla and Kelly. Thank you again for making time to speak with us today.
Thank you, Luann. We're so excited.
For those of our readers that may not be familiar with Two Girls, One Asian, like, where did the idea come from?
We've been friends for a long time. We were friends all the way, or part of the way through college, which we're actually in like the basement of our alma mater right now, where we could steal Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's New York University.
Yes.
Austrians.
Yes.
So we met there. We worked on a bunch of projects together, and we're always collaborating together. Mm-hmm. And I think one of our friends came up with a nickname for us that we were Two Girls, One Asian, because we were both half Asian. There were two of us, and like math. And so we were gonna like start a theater company with that name. And then someone, I think it was our friend Aiden, who's also in the series, one day said to us, like, that's a terrible name for a theater company, but it's a good name for a web series. And we were like,
ding, ding, ding. And then from there, we were just sort of like, actually, that's really great. So Kayla and I just started talking about the different sort of experiences we've had with our, Asian mothers and our white fathers, which tended to overlap generally. And just from those shared experiences, we started talking about like all these different situations that these two Hapa young women who are artists and actresses in New York, like what sort of fun situations they could get themselves into, and what kind of, I don't know, I guess just like fun, weird racial tension stuff we could pull out of that, and make fun of as well as bring light to in this world in which minorities are the sidekicks or the villains. Like, can we actually be like the Lena Dunhams of of the industry? And I'd like to think that we can be. So that's where sort of Two Girls, One Asian came from.
And what are your ethnic backgrounds, both of you?
My dad is Irish American. My mom's Chinese American.
Yeah, my mom is Filipino. Nice. And my dad is Scottish and English. So.
And so what you mentioned, like, that there have been similarities in being Hapa for both of you. So what are some of the similarities that you two kind of draw upon and are found in the series?
Well, one of the big ones that is like the title of episode 2 is the question, what are you? I don't know, I've been asked that my whole life, and I think Kelly has as well, where people are confused by ethnically ambiguous looking people. And it's this funny thing where like the general public sometimes feels like they have the right to like go up and start asking about your ethnic heritage without like any other precursor. That was one of the similarities I noticed.
Absolutely. And the fact that both Kayla and I have white fathers and Asian mothers. It's probably not politically correct for me to say that, but that's also stems from like the what are you, with the sense that like we are ethnically ambiguous, but we do have these like anglicized last names. So that was one thing, and then there's always like the mom thing of like, oh, why don't you try dressing like this? Oh, have you thought about losing weight? And it's just like, Mom, I'm not full Asian. I will never be as tiny as you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like the total like girl, the daughter-mother relationship. But sometimes I do feel like it can get a little heightened when it comes to Asian mothers and mixed children.
No, I do think
call
that
it Asian mother syndrome. What we have.
Yeah, I do think that there's like the stereotype of like the dragon mom. Which isn't always accurate, but there is something about having an Asian mother that just brings people together.
So you two write, direct, produce the entire web series, right?
Yeah, we started writing it maybe like a year and a half ago together, and we brought on board a director and a director of photography, but we fundraised for the whole thing ourselves and our co-producers. Co-writers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how has that process been like to just do the entire creative vision of the project is by you two?
It's been a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's more work than I thought it would be, for sure. And it's a longer process than I thought it would be. When we initially had started planning this series, I felt like it was going to be out, like, even when we had a realistic timeline where everything was laid out and we had written all the episodes, I thought it was going to be out by December of 2013. And then, you know, things got, you just realize that production is such an all-encompassing endeavor. You just have to, like, deal with what you're given. So this series ended up premiering on June 5th of this year, which was a lot later than I had ever thought it would be. I think that was one of my struggles with it, is just like patience and knowing that it'll come out when it comes out and that we put in the work. But it's been long.
Yeah, it's been long. Like, yeah, it's been about a year and a half worth of work. We started thinking about the series, I would say, in February or March, and started like playing around with ideas, sending each other different storylines and plot lines and different situations the girls could get themselves into. Then we started finally getting scripts probably around May, June, and then we went through an editing process for July and August. September we got into talks, I think, with the director and the DP, and by October, or probably like end of September into October, we were shooting. Like, it went very, very quickly. As soon as we got the director and the DP on board, things just started rolling because they were the guys who actually knew what they were doing and knew how to get it, like, you know, get it off the page and onto a screen. In the episode you're going to see this week, it was, I would say that's the most collaborative episode, the model minority, just because that particular episode is the one that deals most closely with, like, racial tensions, and not just, like, the difference between the majority and the minority, but minority sort of battling it out.
Yeah, I originally wrote the episode that's coming out this week. This is like veering way off your question.
Yeah,
no, that's totally fine. Go, yeah, it's great.
I originally wrote the episode that you're gonna see this week, like sort of by myself, about like experiences that happened to me one day in New York on the train, and through like practicalities of casting it, and like who we ended up casting, and also having Kelly and the director, photography and the director read it. There were like a lot of changes that happened, all for the better, and it ended up being a much more comprehensive episode, I think.
Yeah, we were rewriting on set that day.
Yeah,
Which I think, like, this goes back to, like, what was the process like? So I don't think it's totally off topic, because, like, you know, we were about to shoot certain scenes. Oh, it's getting loud. We were about to shoot certain scenes, and some of these actors had no idea where their lines were, because we were telling them that, hey, we are really, really interested in really capturing the essence of what this, you know, particular scene means, you know, to have, like, two half-Asian girls walk through, you know, the streets of Bushwick, you know, joking about, like, what this white boy is doing in the ghetto, you know, like, what sort of repercussions, like, language-wise, like, culturally, like, what does that have? And everybody, especially in this episode that's coming up this week, was so on board with, like, just by nature of having an open collaborative process, it's made each and every episode so cohesive for us, and so satisfying, I think.
Well, is there anything about the show in particular that you'd want our readers to know about you two?
Ooh, loaded question.
I don't know, the spiel that we've been giving out about the show is that it's this show about, like, girls who have all these, like, problems, like you might see on Girls or on the Mindy Project. Like, they have problems with their apartment and their boyfriends, but, like, fundamentally it's a show about, like, two friends hanging out, doing weird shit, and, like, being there for each other. But, yeah, I think that's the main thing to know about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's also, like, it really, as, you know, as with the 18th anniversary of Wannabe, isn't that the Spice Girls song?
Oh, the Spice, yeah.
You know, it's just like, this really, you know, is at the core of the web series. It is about girl power, and it is about, you know, female friendships and how they endure throughout all the, you know, the shit that you go through. And I think that's what's really important for me, that, like, even though it is called Two Girls, One Asian, it is sort of about bringing, you know, Asian American actors, as well as, you know, minority actors to the forefront and not just seeing them as the sidekicks or the villains or these weird, you know, racial stereotypes that we put on the industry. It really comes down to two girls who are friends, who really care about each other and, you know, are going to stick with each other through the end and through everything. So female relationships are important, and everybody should like them.
Where do you want to see the web series go from here?
We're taking care of some Indiegogo stuff. We have a bunch of DVDs to make and donors to take care of, and then after that we had talked about it taking a little break, because it's been a year and a half of nonstop doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then we want to do a second season.
We do want to do a second season. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, if we got picked up by, I don't know, the CW or Comedy Central, like, we'd totally be on board for that too. But
our bucket hope for season 2, I think, is that we get some sort of sponsor and get picked up. But you know, that's like a pipe dream. But you know, miracles happen.
Yeah. But ideally, you know, we shop this around for a little bit, but continue to work on a second season, because now we all sort of like hit this groove. We know exactly, you know, where, you know, our comedy lies in, where to go from here, and just super excited for whatever comes next.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited too, and I can't wait to, you know, watch all the episodes and get more people and to get more people to watch your web series, because I think the work that you two are doing is amazing. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for talking to us.